Today morning, I was requested for a chat on Google Meet by a freelance journalist from Pakistan who wanted to talk to me about my geological journey from Chandigarh to Delhi to Lahore to Pakistan, Peshawar, and back to Delhi and Chandigarh. The timing of the journey was a few months after the Kargil War. I and my guru, Dr. Bhargava, we both went to Peshawar for a geological field meeting arranged by UNESCO, UNDP, International Project, IGCP, International Geological Correlation Program Project, possibly 421. I could be wrong about it, but I think it was 421. The field meeting was in Peshawar, initiated from Peshawar University. And my idea of attending a meeting in Pakistan came from the bus journey initiated by that great Indian statesman Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Vajpayee ji took a bus journey from Amritsar to Lahore. And in that journey, famous writers, actors, and all those who counted who had grown with India and Pakistan post-partition or were around before partition went. Suddenly it occurred to me that the IGCP field meeting in Peshawar was doable. I didn't need to ask any money from anyone. 500 rupees bus journey to Lahore and Peshawar. I informed John Talent, who was the convener of that field meeting in Macquarie University, that look, India and Pakistan are having a historic day. The bus journey by our Prime Minister with so many great Indians. It looks we are heading for great times. And for geologists to go and see Pakistan geology, especially like us, who were not born before partition, had no chance to see the Pakistan geology, it's now easy. To our surprise, a quick war, famous as Kargil War, it was not officially called a war in the world because it happened on our territory under control of India. The story of Kargil is well known, but that too Indian geologists dared to go for fieldwork in Pakistan in the international fieldwork project of UNESCO, sponsored International Geological Correlation Program, made news. And friends in Peshawar welcomed us like people in Peshawar always welcome Indians. It was the most friendly region of Pakistan, and problem was bus journey was not possible. That was very sad. My mother was from Lahore, Ram Gali, model town Lahore. We had a hope we may pass through Lahore, but we were very close to Lahore, Mianwali. So today this journalist wanted me to talk about friendship between Pakistan and India. I told him I've been talking about not just India and Pakistan, friendship across all Himalayan ecology sharing nations through shared research, shared eco and geotourism, shared disaster management, shared geological exploration, shared water management, and looking for affluence and prosperity for the peoples across these lines on the geographical maps. I actually had talked about it uh, in just after the Pulwama episode. There was a science meet in Jammu, Cluster University, Jammu. I said this there too, that a person who can introduce these shared ventures across borders will very easily introduce peace and prosperity in this region. Will make this region at par with the European region, where tourists go from one country to another. And geologists travel from one country to another without much problem. And I said one thing which brought that convention hall of Jammu Cluster University or Jammu town, perhaps it was common for all. So many students in that hall got up and clapped at this idea. I said, the Nobel Peace Prize is waiting for somebody who can introduce this. And nobody can be more daring than a geologist, because geologists dare do things which others don't even think of. And there were many other scientists. I said, unfortunately, there is no Nobel Prize for geological sciences and environmental sciences. But all Nobel Peace Prizes actually rightly belong to geologists and environmentalists. Kennedy had once said, one who solves the water problems of humanity will get not one but two Nobel Prizes. One for science, the other for peace. So all my talk with this gentleman today on Google Meet through a software which he has, this talk is actually going to upload on his YouTube. He just a while back asked me what should be the title for it. He wanted some title he had in mind, didn't appeal to me, and it's just in the process of my thinking for the title for the chat that I thought of this video, which I make myself, for myself, and for my own intellectual happiness, and for my crazy idea of, it's called crazy idea, but I'm sure in 25 years to come, peace and prosperity will come to all these Himalayan ecology sharing nations through common eco and geotourism, common exploration, common management of disasters, and everything else. which goes with the landscape. So the title which occurred to me was Chandigarh to Peshawar and back, geologically speaking. So I don't know whether he accepts my title or not, but I thought before this title slips out of my mind, let me concretize it and give it some words. Chandigarh to Peshawar, post Kargil, geologically speaking. Never ever we believed that the two Indians, A.D. Ahluwalia and O.N. Bhargav, post-Kargil war in 1999, a little before Musharraf took over, these two Indians would be the VIPs in Pakistan. It had to be seen to be believed, the warmth of Peshawar University for us. There was some trepidation and hidden fear in our minds, but it disappeared the moment we reached Peshawar University. Peshawar University was such grandiose, so wide open, such high roofs, such big rooms for the faculty and the guest house, such rich food, such huge those naans which were Taliban had not yet really flourished, but still there were threats in '99 and huge. We never done field work with some 250 commandos guarding the geologists of some 32 countries. And so many people from Pakistan, especially families who had gone from India, were all the time trying to talk to us. One guy, Talat, he was always accosting me. One day out of curiosity, I asked the boy. He looked a young boy, but he was not that young. And he said, I'm a paleontologist. I said, you've been very kind to me all the time, giving me company. He said, there's a reason. My mother was from Ambala. The Director General of Geological Survey of Pakistan came and said, I belong to Jalandhar. And we saw a girl who was managing the Japanese collaboration made lab of Geological Survey of Pakistan in Islamabad or somewhere close by, who was from Lahore, and she described to us that the lab was working in 3 shifts a day, and it was also a service lab for many, and all instruments, 100%, were all the time working. Then we came to know, which was a little, we felt jealous, that Geological Survey of India had to do all the things with all limitations, with not much freedom in the past to publish or to have collaborations officially. They had collaborations with the Italians, they had with the Canadians, with the Japanese and the Germans, and obviously Chinese. We found Geological Survey of Pakistan had a map published with the report printed in half of the map, that sheet. And what else? We saw Pakistan was not that crowded as India is. And Dr. Bhargav was a vegetarian, and he was most of the time starving. I could take meat, but not that oily meat which is served with lots of dry fruit and garam masala and lot of ghee in it. So I requested them, please make some vegetable for Dr. Bhargav. They said, क्या बनाए साहब जी? मैंने कहा भिंडी बना दीजिए. When we came from Khyber Pass after field work, lunch was around 3 or 4 p.m. and Dr. Bhargav happily tried to help himself with bhindi, lady fingers vegetable. And he said, oh God, they have put meat in it. I said, Saab, मैंने बोला था Bhargav Saab doesn't take meat and you better prepare some vegetable for him. He said, we were about to prepare bhindi alone, but we felt it doesn't look good to serve him just bhindi. So we added some meat out of a feeling of hospitality and courtesy towards him. Bhargav Saab is a frugal eater. I told him before the salad and sweet dish finishes, you better take that firni and something so that you're not starving once again. This is another side story, another we didn't have a visa for going out of Peshawar, and the field meeting required us to travel from Khyber Pass to Miawali on that Karachi road, and we are not Salt Range, the famous sections we always studied and taught during our courses all over India. Geology has not been taught of India, Pakistan, or geology of Indian subcontinent is taught. I told this gentleman whose name is Shakil Chowdhury. And Salt Range is obviously a famous joint of all geologists. And outside there were a number of dhabas who were used to hosting geologists coming to that place. Unlike these days when you serve in a small katori and a small plate, they had a huge thali in which a tandoori roti of the size of the thali and a huge bowl, a brass bowl, in which they would serve the mutton curry. It was terrible, tough for me. One roti was difficult to finish, but lots of people who were from our European friends and also Russians, they enjoyed that food. Then we found there was a conference of GEM, etc., coming 2 weeks later, and those people tried to persuade us to stay on and attend that conference. They said, don't worry about the visa, hum manage kar lenge. You are our guests after this. But we didn't want to indulge in any misadventure during our first ever visit. We didn't know if ever we will be able to go to Pakistan. But discussing everything today, I felt time has come for the idea to do collaborative research, collaborative fieldwork between all these countries who are sharing the Himalayan ecology, who are sharing the monsoon caused by the Himalayas, who are sharing the water from the Himalayan glaciers, who have almost everything common, but for a line drawn on the map. Lines drawn on the map have their sanctity. They are all sovereign nations, but sovereign nations have a right to work together for prosperity of the people. The gentleman who interviewed me asked me various fields. He was keen I talk about the religious tourism. I said, I'm not a very religious person. My parents were. And I would rather, my religion is science. And I would rather confine myself to, but health is an issue which concerns me. He asked me about the Indian institutes which can be an example for smaller countries to emulate. He was particularly talking about IITs. I said, we are having now more than 15 IITs, but the others to emulate may be AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, which we are having now. Many are coming up, and we have abundant medical tourism from neighboring countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan. Even the former Soviet countries, Union countries, do send people here. Treatment is much cheaper in India and of very high quality. We often read of small kids coming from Pakistan to Mohali, Fortis Hospital, building great human bonds between the two countries and going back. My mind was full of nostalgia after the talk. So I thought before these nostalgic feelings dissolve, let me put these down with love to entire mankind, nearly 2 billion people who live in the Himalayan ecology sharing nations. I talked about the origin of the Himalayan story, and that India bumping into Tibet and causing uplift of the Himalaya, and earlier uplift was high enough to cause the monsoons. I told all the story of the Himalayas, that Himalayan rocks are geological archives entombing about 1800 100 million years of Earth's history. I hope that talk and this talk will act as a great emotional comfort to people and the subcontinent who moved during those terrible times of partition. It looks on Monday we have some discussion in Harvard University on these issues which I took up today. I may be participating or I may be in the audience, but whenever I'm in the audience, I'm participating. I may be independently speaking too, or maybe only a participant with the discussion. But it was a great day for me today, 24 years after the Peshawar trip. So it's over to all friends across the subcontinent. It's over to all those IGCP participants of that Project 421, or whatever it was. God bless the Himalayas, and God bless all the river waters, all the glaciers, all the lovely forests of the Himalayas, and the entire landscape of the Indian subcontinent. Namaskar.